Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ben. This is Ben Talks Balls, and today I will be having a little bit of discussion and a talk regarding Manchester United's most recent fixture against Brighton Hove and Albion. Before we do start, I would like to apologize for not uploading my thoughts and reviews regarding the games against Norwich City and Sheffield United. Let's get into it though. Manchester United started the game with lots of possession and lots of territory within Brighton's half. I think this is an attempt by Graham Potter to try and frustrate Manchester United's forward players. As we've seen earlier in the year, Manchester United really struggle in breaking down teams that drop deep and set up in a low block. However, this did not succeed because they had the overall quality in the creative department with Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba linking up well as the assurance with having Nemanja Matic anchoring the midfield from behind. Let's talk about the first goal. I think it's important to note the run Victor Lindelof makes after playing the pass to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He drags Dan Burn out of position or away from Mason Greenwood, creating that space for Mason Greenwood to run into. All he has to do is run past the midfielder. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Dale Stephens or Davy Proper. And this little shimmy past Dan Burn into the bottom corner. It was a brilliant goal. It showed the talent on display by Mason Greenwood. He's a phenomenal player. Time and time again, I have talked up how good Mason Greenwood is. The phrase generational talent gets thrown about a lot online, but Mason Greenwood is genuinely a generational talent. His composure, his intelligence, and his overall talent. He's a natural goal scorer, and I love watching him put those balls in the back of the net. He's a talent. He's got 13 goals this season, and he has had 6 in the Premier League. Only Wayne Rooney in the previous years as a teenager has scored more. That just tells you how good this boy is going to be. Wow. I get a lost for words at times when talking about Mason Greenwood because he is that good. Regarding the goal, it's important to note how Manchester United focused 3 players. 3 players on Brighton's left-hand side of the fence. What this did is it created what we like to call a tactical overload. It overloaded that side of the pitch. As you see, Victor Lindelof running past Dan Burn and drawing him out wide, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka sucking Yusuf Bissouma to the other side. This isolated Davy Proper or Dale Stephens, whoever the Brighton midfielder was, with Mason Greenwood. Easy for him to pass because he took the ball on the turn really quickly, and he had a 1v1 against Lewis Dunk, which he expertly put the ball through his legs into the bottom corner. Great move by United, but overall, Mason Greenwood made the goal. If it was Daniel James, I'm sorry, it would have not worked. But I do have to say, Mason Greenwood is an exceptional talent, and there are very few players I know that can do that with that level of intelligence and maturity. Props to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for not rushing him in, giving him time to read the game, giving him time to understand how the top level works, and slowly easing him into the first team where he's thriving now. He's definitely a starter. He should start alongside Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford in the games to come. I think Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes again had solid games, not to the level of creativity they displayed against Sheffield United, but they both had really solid games. Bruno Fernandes, of course, grabbing those 2 goals, and Paul Pogba, I think what's important is his ability to spread the play, his composure on the ball, which just gives United an extra level of ease when they're pushing forward in attack, when they're building up attacks particularly. I think Paul Pogba had a solid and a quiet display. Quiet in the sense that he didn't go all out and display his creative ability, but he maintained and dictated the tempo constantly for United. And it was clearly seen when both players were subbed off in the second half that we didn't have the same level of control. Brighton even grew throughout the game when both players left the pitch. Bruno Fernandes, I feel, was a bit lucky to score his first goal. It was a hefty deflection that caught Matthew Ryan off guard. And overall, I think what's important to note is his willingness to take shots on the edge of the box, his willingness to get onto that edge of the box and to score, or at least take shots to score. What is, of course, a cause of excitement for many Manchester United fans is the fact that Paul Pogba assisted Bruno Fernandes. A lot of people are saying that is the first of many to come between the two, and I am truly excited to witness both players demonstrate their creative ability and their overall class on the pitch, as we've seen consistently when they both had appearances for Manchester United on the pitch. I think it is though important to note that Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford had a bit of an off game. I think Rashford was trying a lot. He was trying a lot of things, but it just didn't come off for him. He tried to run past the defender. He tried to get shots off, but overall, he wasn't slick enough. I think his close control let him down at times. Maybe it's down to match sharpness, maybe it's down to not playing professionally since January, but I just want both of them to continue consistent form, which is what we've seen early in the year, especially the link-up play before Rashford got injured in January. That was some of the best football I've seen. Well, aside from now, of course. Norwich City, particularly in the game at Carrow Road, when Martial and Rashford linked up for what were beautiful goals. You know, Rashford just flicking it to Martial for him to chip over the keeper. That kind of thing is what we want to expect for them, and I hope they can get back to their brilliant best. Martial, of course, performed exceptionally well against both Norwich and Sheffield United, but I think he didn't get involved in the play as much as he did against Sheffield United. He, of course, made good runs, but I feel he didn't offer himself as an option to pick up the ball and facilitate play, and is also probably down to the physicality of Dan Burn and Shane Duffy, which at times limited his ability and time on the ball. I think it's important to note how beautiful that third goal was. Mason Greenwood's individual effort, of course, was exceptional, but that third goal was what Manchester United fans want to see from Manchester United. It was very reminiscent of the counter-attacking days, Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez that we under Sir Alex Ferguson. You see how Harry Maguire heads the ball away, Matic picking up the ball on the halfway line and playing a beautiful half-volleyed pass to Mason Greenwood to run onto. And it's important to note as well, the space created for Bruno Fernandes to run on the right-hand side by Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford. By pushing into that central area, it sucked the back line inwards, and it created space for Bruno Fernandes to have the time to make up his mind and volley it brilliantly past Matthew Ryan. Overall, that is a brilliant goal, and that is what I expect to see from Manchester United in the future. With regards to Manchester United's fullbacks, I think they were good going forward. But for Luke Shaw, I think he really needs to improve his defensive positioning, and United's backline in general needs to improve their communication. I saw a couple times when Luke Shaw tried to defend the right winger coming at him, he left a lot of space in the half space between him and Harry Maguire, which had to be covered, of course, by Nemanja Matic. But what is important to note is that this issue has been there not only in this game, but against the likes of Spurs and Sheffield United, and even Norwich. What he does is he tries to close down the winger coming at him, and he leaves the space behind him, in between him and Harry Maguire, which is an easy run for a midfielder. So what needs to be done is an improvement of communication lines. Harry Maguire and the rest of the back line needs to make it more compact and draw themselves over to the other side so that there's less space to be exploited by the opposition attackers. But it is also important to note how well Aaron Wan-Bissaka has played and did play in this game. He's improved tremendously going forward. He looks a lot more comfortable going on the ball and running against a defender as well as putting a cross in. I think it's exceptional work done by the coaches, because it's important to note that his early stages in his senior career were him playing as a right back. What he was taught to do was remain defensively, tackle, remain defensively, tackle. And what this did is it stunted his natural development going forward. And he's not a natural dribbler. We've seen time and time again how he gets stuck on the ball, because the way he runs at defenders with the ball is not exactly a top-class dribbler. And a lot of work has been done. I've been really impressed with how confident he is. His overall attempts to put the ball into the box, they've been really refreshing, seeing that from a United fullback. I'm really pleased with how his development is going, and of course he's a rock defensively, even made 4 tackles. In regards to Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, I don't think they had much to do this game, aside from in the second half when Brighton started to grow into the game. They were a bit sloppy in terms of blocking shots and getting into their positions well, in the second half at least, but overall their progression on the ball was really good, especially Victor Lindelof, as I previously mentioned. His intelligence to run forward and drag Dan Burn with him led to the space being created for Mason Greenwood to score. I think as well, David De Gea, not having much to do for most of the game, pulled off 2 great saves against Brighton and really kept that clean sheet, and I'm pleased to see he's got at least a hint of his confidence back in regards to shot stopping ability. I hope he can continue to develop and continue to return to his obviously very high standards of days gone by. I'm very excited with what I've been witnessing from Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a really functional team, and he's getting them to play some beautiful football at times. They've been phenomenal to watch at times, especially against Sheffield United and this game. When they're going forward, they're really starting to build chemistry, starting to build proper fluidity, and I can't wait to see that. I really hope they keep up the consistency in their chase for the top four, and I think they'll push Leicester and Chelsea all the way. That first trophy won could be the kickstarter to United really pushing on and challenging. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be the man to lead Manchester United back to European title glory, but I think he's certainly building the team better, and he is putting out the fire started by David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, and of course Jose Mourinho in days gone by. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has impressed me and has done a really underrated job at United, and he's restructured the club better. He's instilled a positive atmosphere. You see how the players are really buying into what he's preaching, and they're really buying into him as manager. His man management has been phenomenal, and overall Ole has been tremendous in getting the players on board. Overall, this team is shaping up really well, and it's got really good and promising talents cropping up. Brandon Williams as well, to Heath Chong. Unfortunately, Angel Gomez is left, but there are going to be more players to come through the academy system, especially Hannibal Mejbri, who is coming through from the under-23s this season. I think overall United are looking really good and are looking to build really well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy my little ramble on Manchester United, not just against Brighton. If you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that, and I hope to catch you next time.